Let's go to the Zoom room now. We're standing by. I believe
They're at Jose Rios Middle School.
in PD. We have from the KUAM News team, Isaiah Uggan, with GDOE Superintendent Jon Fernandez. Good morning, Isaiah.
Unmute.
You'll need to unmute.
Unmute. Good morning, Isaiah.
Good morning, operators and Bree. Here with me is the Guam Department of Education Superintendent Jon Fernandez. You stopped by DSG earlier today. How's the birthday school going?
Well, every first day of school is always, you always expect a lot of traffic. Just in those first days that people get used to the routines, as we see the school buses coming in. And so, yeah, we did see that up at JFK. It's something that we always expect. But in addition to that, it rained very hard at the same time that kids were getting off the bus, getting out of the car. So added level of difficulty, like the Olympics, right, the gymnastics. This was a higher level of difficulty than normal. And then you add in the protocols that are being implemented, the temperature checks and making sure we maximize distancing and so forth. So, everything went, I think, pretty smoothly given all of that had to be taken into consideration. I think ask everybody just to really be patient because, parents weren't able to get out and escort their kids to school. I know that, it might take it longer to get into the school because of the lines and the temperature checks. But as far as I saw, everyone was in good spirits. Everything seemed to be working pretty smoothly. And we just really encourage all of the folks on the roads today to just be aware of the buses and the kids who might be out. First day of school, and we haven't done this for 18 months. So it might be something that we got to get used to, but, it's here. So we're trying to get back to some level of a new normal for the first test. I think things went well at JFK.
Awesome. So, we've seen positive cases with the department and its employees and some students. And as a result, we've had parents who wanted to switch their students or their children back to distance learning. What can you say about that and why can't parents do that?
Well, remember, we had a registration opportunity at the end of last school year for students to register for online or for face-to-face. And the reason we did that is because we planned for the school 3 months in advance to make sure we have enough teachers online for the online students. In some cases, we haven't had enough students at one school to have dedicated teacher. So we've had to do a regional approach of combining classes from several schools. So there's a lot of things that went into providing online at the same time as we're going face to face. So that's one reason why we had to plan ahead. And for those who want to switch back, we clearly would like them to stay in their preferred model of learning because it's not easy. We can't take a teacher and move them online and face to face the same way that students might want to. If a school can accommodate those parents because there are available slots, that's already been happening. But if there are no slots available, we can't, accommodate those those who wish to change their model of learning. So if I were a parent, I would call the administrator. I would verify whether or not they're able to accommodate that request, and that that's really what we're able to do at this point. I mean, we're really lucky here because other school districts aren't offering any virtual learning at all. So now they're going back face to face. What we're trying to do is accommodate, at least those portions who don't feel comfortable yet. Now, with regard to the day-to-day situation, I mean, obviously, we've seen the health situation get higher and lower and, better and worse. So I'm just urging our community that, we're not going to be making decisions on a day-to-day basis. We really want to look at what's happening in the community overall and where we are in terms of our protective measures. And then, be assured that we're going to monitor the health and safety of our kids and our employees and take the necessary actions to make sure that they are safe. But remember at schools, we are implementing, multiple strategies at the same time. We call it a layered approach to protecting the health and safety of our school students and employees. So if one is falling short, there are other layers of protection that are in place. So that's our approach. You look at other places around the community, you won't see as many measures in place. So I think we're doing a good job. We take the rules seriously. We take safety seriously, and we're trying to make sure that we provide, again, that layered approach to safety. I think that'll allow us to be safer than what you're seeing in the broader community. Now, the cases that we have seen, and I admit, because we do report very transparently employees or students who are on campus who have tested positive. All of those cases are largely coming from outside. They're coming from the home, they're coming from the community. So we haven't seen any real issue of spread within the school setting. And I hope that that continues. But we do care that, what's happening in the community is not good, for us as a school system and for us as an island, because it shows that with the restrictions being lifted, there are people out in the community who are not, they've let their guard down. And this Delta variant that's out there is going to take advantage of that. And I've told our employees, our employees at DOE, it's not just about practicing safety at school. You got to do that when you go home. When you're in the community, do our best as a member of the community to keep ourselves safe, not just in school but outside, because it all impacts each other.
Okay. And so, we've heard from GFC that there's some concerns about the governor's executive order, to the point where some have told the union they may resign or retire. What concerns have employees raised with you?
Well, I think vaccination is a very personal issue, obviously, but I also understand that, the governor's perspective. This is a public health emergency. The science is showing that vaccination is having an impact on the spread of COVID-19. It's not 100% of a protection, but right now, when you look at the data around the pandemic of the unvaccinated, those who are not vaccinated at this point, we know that that's still going to create a risk for the community. So it seems from what I read in the executive order, there is enough legal backing for an employer to be able to require vaccinations of the employees. And what we're going to do at this point is give our employees the opportunity to make sure they take advantage of that vaccination opportunity. Like we're doing a clinic this Saturday at Season High School Gym from 10 to 4 for the specific purpose of helping our employees and students take the vaccine. So we have a high level of compliance already. About 75% of our school employees are already vaccinated. So it's really not an issue for everybody, but I know that there may be still that small portion of employees who are anxious about it, hesitant, may have a lot of questions. If they have questions, we encourage them to talk to the school nurse. The school nurses have been on the front lines. They've been working hard to try to deal with the impact in the hospitals and the community when people are getting sick. And they also have the latest information regarding the use of the vaccine and how it's been working. So for those who have questions, please get the information. We're happy to work with you and to give you the opportunity to get the vaccine. We're not so sure about other details. And I know there's a lot of questions about consequences and what happens if we don't comply by September 24th. Well, we haven't quite gotten to that point. We're going to see how far we can get by encouraging our employees to just comply to the extent that they can. If they have questions, answer those questions and make the opportunities available to them.
Okay, so can you address the concerns from parents that are worried about no social distancing on buses and no temperature checks? And temperature checks are basically have to be done from home. So can you, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the issue there is, again, what we're saying is that we have, again, multiple layers of strategies in place. We'll continue to talk with the buses about the temperature checks and whether that makes sense and how they're going to respond. I mean, one of the concerns that I know was raised was the time it takes to stop your bus to get the kids on and, while you're stopping traffic and so forth, and the attention that the bus driver has to pay to that. Number two, if a student gets a high temperature, we're not going to leave them on the side of the road, so there has to be a plan for what happens to students. We're not going to tell them to walk home, and that becomes our responsibility. And then the third issue is that, I guess we have to take a look at those approaches. I see in the stores all the time there are a lot of these temperature checks that nobody's monitoring, nobody's managing, sometimes they don't even work. So I don't want to be overly, focused on one strategy. They are requiring face masking. They are requiring ventilation in terms of opening windows in the buses. But I understand the face masks are the most important, part of the strategy. And so, today when I saw kids coming off the buses, they were all compliant. I was really surprised and I was glad to see that. And, when they come to school, we'll take their temperatures again. We'll make sure they're okay. And the school nurses are there. We have a school nurse at every school able to deal with any health issues that come up. And, when they come to school, we can contact the parents and be in better direct communication to make sure that those incidents are addressed quickly.
Okay, so how many schools have you visited this morning, and how many do you plan to visit after this?
Well, just a couple. I mean, usually, we'll get to 2, 3, 3 in the morning. We'll do several in the afternoon.
Okay.
On buses, and then we're planning to do this for the next couple of weeks. Usually that's the time frame where we're just working out any issues that might come up, whether it's busing, whether it's food services, whether it's, any, issues that we might see down, COVID-19 issues and questions, concerns. So we'll be spending a lot of time focused on that. We are working with the governor's office. I know they set up a hotline that I know has some glitches this morning that they're trying to fix. But we did want an opportunity for people to be able to call in if they have any questions, any issues, so we could get those questions answered. So we'll work on that for tomorrow for sure, to make sure that's available. And then again, first couple of weeks, our commitment is really intense monitoring of what's going on. So I think once we get to the hang of it, I think we'll be okay. But again, we just have to be vigilant and not let our guard down.
Okay, just to clarify, so if parents did want to switch their kids online and if the school can accommodate it, just reach the admin?
Yeah, they would. I think that's really where we're seeing those solutions being determined. But right now, the general policy is we've completed registration. We're not going to be able to accommodate large numbers of kids trying, because of the latest news yesterday, now wanting to switch over, and then later on maybe wanting to switch back. It's just hard to do operationally. But if your school, there is a slot available and your principal is able to accommodate you without disrupting the teacher's assignments and so forth, that certainly has been allowed. And that's how I think most parents have been able to work through that.
Okay, so normally students are allowed to switch their schedule in the high school level. They're allowed to switch their schedule once the semester ends. Can they do that once the semester ends? Are they able to actually switch their model of learning?
Right now, the model of learning, we're waiting to the end of the semester for any further changes.
Got it. And any final comments to parents or legal guardians?
No, I mean, again, we're so excited to see our kids back at school. This is where they deserve to be. This is where we need them to be. They had their lives disrupted significantly over the past 18 months. So we believe we can do it safely, have them coming back to school. We'll see how things go these first couple of weeks. We care about their safety. And so if there's anything that needs to be responded to, we will take that, of course, with a great sense of urgency and concern. But again, we have to be safe as a community. And so I'm asking that we just all work together, not just in school, but outside where we're at home, at the restaurant, at the grocery store, wherever we're at, try to make sure we practice those safe practices, because we're the only ones who are going to be able to keep our community safe. No one's going to do it for us. So we hope everybody will work together, because I want to keep our schools open for the rest of the year.
All right, thank you, Mr. Fernandez. For more details, tune into KUM's Primetime. For now, I'm Isaiah again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you, John. Congratulations. There you go. Very determined, obviously, and a good message there at the end. No one is going to do it for us, right? So while we sit around and we talk about where are the restrictions, we did this last time, we just got to do our part and do the 4 W's. That's the messaging, is back to the basics, right? We kind of lost track of all that. Washing your hands, washing your distance, wearing your mask. I know COVID fatigue is real. I know, my people, but let's just do it. Let's power through. Come on. Do you want to have a great Christmas? I want to have a good Christmas this year. Anyway. Thanks, Bree.